afternoon, and welcome everyone joining us for this quarter's Juris Tuesday topic webinar for Lawpay, Streamline Receiving and Recording AR and Trust Payments. Our featured guest speaker is Katie Baker Elder. Katie has been 20 years working with Juris and Juris with software. Currently, she is a senior LexisNexis junior professional solutions consultant. She delivers on-site and remote consulting services to Juris professional services plan customers. Katie has comprehensive expertise in optimal Juris and Juris suite workflows specific to law firms and is also a specialist in electronic billing. She is customer focused to deliver optimal solutions and experience for our service plan customers. Hi, my name is Ivan, by the way, taking over Ronda's. She's currently our host for today, but she's currently having a difficulty. So she's the professional services consultant as well as for Juris, and supposedly the host for today. But for this webinar, this is actually complementary to our Juris customer and have been designed to help you to get the most from your Juris software by providing you with time-saving tips and best practices for using Juris. The format for today's webinar is presentation provided by Katie, followed by a question and answer period. All attendees will be in listen-only mode for duration of our presentation. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to ask them via the questions pane located on your webinar control panel. During the last 15 minutes of the webinar, Katie will answer your questions. Please note that we are recording today's event, and all attendees will receive an email within 1 week with a link to the recording and any slides that Katie will use. Also, there is a brief survey at the end of the webinar today that we ask you to please take a moment to complete. Your feedback will help us in planning our future events. Katie, you may now have the webinar.
Thank you, Ivan. I'm not sure who can hear me. I hope everybody can hear me now. Apologize for the technical difficulties. This was our first time in trying to do this in a different manner. So I apologize, but I'm going to try to quickly do this. If you have questions, like you said, you can save them for the last about 10 minutes maybe, or you can type them as we go, and I'll answer them at the end of the session. So Lawpay for Juris, it's available with version 3.1. Currently, we have clients who are using it, and it is client pay. So client pay and both Lawpay are owned by AffiniPay. It's all been combined into one big thing now, and it's going to be referred to, you'll hear us refer to it as Lawpay for Juris. So we also, on this call, we have two consultants from AffiniPay, Nicole and Emily, are going to be here. So after I give you an intro of Lawpay, if you have any questions, just keep those in mind and chat them or type those in the question box, and Emily and Nicole will be glad to answer those before we proceed with the rest of the presentation. So first of all, let's talk about streamlining your client accounts receivable and trust online credit card payments. If you, how can you do this? You streamline your client and payments. How can you do that? We're going to do an introduction today. We're going to talk about Lawpay for Juris setup. We're going to talk about the email template, which I'm so excited about, refresh AR and trust balances, process online receipts, emailing the bills, and then what the client receives when they get the email from you. And then we're going to do a wrap up with question and answers. So first of all, let's talk about Lawpay. Lawpay for Juris, it's going to increase your cash flow, and we have partnered with AffiniPay and come up with the new Lawpay for Juris, of course. And one of the good things about Lawpay AffiniPay is that your clients are able to send you payments 24/7. They don't have to wait until you're in the office. There was a survey taken, and this is some AffiniPay Lawpay stuff. A survey was taken that 75% of the customers now prefer to pay with a debit or credit card. I know that I do. I write one check, and that's to my electric department because they're so old-fashioned that if you pay online, they charge you $5, and so I just prefer to drive up there and hand them my little check. But anyway, on average, law firms that accept online payments with Lawpay receive payment 39% faster. And we know that we've got a good deal with AffiniPay and Lawpay because they've got a very good track record. So some of the good features, the firm benefits that you are going to have just from the benefits of Lawpay alone, whether you interface to Juris or not. They have IOTA compliance. They focus on their customer experience. Everything is kept confidential, and it's a high-tech payment experience. There's no cancellation fees, etc., etc. If you have the Lawpay for Juris integration, which means that you're on 3.1 or 3.2, which 3.2 has got some improvements that 3.1 didn't have, version of Juris. You get the same benefits from Lawpay. In addition, of course, then you get the Juris benefits. Clients are going to pay you faster. Therefore, you're going to have a quicker cash flow, a better cash flow. It's going to reduce the hassle of manual processing and saving time. You can import those online payments directly from the Lawpay site, the ClientPay or AffiniPay site. You can download those payments and process those automatically. And of course, automation is going to help reduce errors. So some of the good things about that is it stops payment challenges and improves your cash flow. Credit card payments can be accepted outside business hours. There's no waiting on the checks to float or wait till the money hits the bank, if you will. I think there are a lot of clients who do that because of trust payments. They wait till the check is cleared at the bank, which sometimes could take 2 to 3 days or even more. Minimize billing errors due to overpayment. This time when the client logs on to pay their bill, they're not going to be confused by, do they pay the past due balance? Do they pay this current balance? What in the world do they pay? Because what they owe is going to be right there in front of their face. So it's going to prevent a lot of overpayments for you. That's like one of the best things. It's going to automate the posting of cash receipts and actually the input of that cash receipt and all the details. Will save on your credit card processing fees. So if you're currently taking that credit card information, why take it? Why you push that responsibility off on the client? And then it's also an opportunity to take in more revenue without charging more or taking on more cases. So if you're interested in Lawpay for Juris, of course, the first thing you have to do is reach out to AffiniPay. You can also reach out to your Juris Professional Services team. You can reach out to Kendra, your account manager, and I'll give you some contact information at the very end of the presentation today. And just remember that if you're not on version 3.2, 3.1 or greater, and you're still on version 2.6.1, we highly recommend that you plan for this upgrade. You want to ensure that your network is up to speed and all your workstations are up to speed, and so forth and so forth. The build designs may need tweak, check designs may need tweak, so be sure you plan for this. Don't jump into it blind. You can also use your phone, the camera on your iPhone or Android, and you can like take a picture of that, or if you hold it up there, you know how it picks. It's going to go out there to the Lawpay for Juris website. Then you can get some additional information out there. So at this point in time, if you have questions about Lawpay, if you need Emily or Nicole's contact information, if we could, can we unmute Emily and Nicole and see if there's anything that they would like to add? They may have telephone numbers and stuff directly that, let me see if I can unmute her.
Can
That's
you hear me?
probably
This is
going to
Nicole.
happen. Yep, there you go, Nicole.
Perfect. Perfect. Hi, guys. It's nice to meet you and to be here today. I am the Senior Partner Account Manager for the relationship between Lawpay and Juris. So super excited about this presentation today. I'm going to drop my email into the chat here. It's nangelica@lawpay.com. And that's the best way. If you guys have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me there. I'm pretty responsive via email. So I'll make sure to drop that in the chat. And then at the end of the presentation, myself and one of my other teammates, Emily, are here to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you so much. I'm moving forward. All right. With that said, let's go to the good stuff. Let's go through Lawpay for Juris, the setup. It's simple. Where do I begin? Well, first thing you have to do is you've got to have Lawpay. So you have to talk to either Nicole or Emily or somebody over there and get all set up on Lawpay. And then after you've upgraded to Juris 3.2, you'll be ready to go. So in Juris, you're going to need your account key, and they give you a account PIN. Sometimes they call it merchant PIN, merchant account number, merchant account, etc. For the bank accounts that you're going to be linked. You can link as many bank accounts as you want. I'm sure that you could talk to Nicole about that, but let's just say in Juris, for today's sake, we're going to link an operating account and we're going to link a trust account, but you're not limited to one of each. So the first thing that you got to set up is for your operating account, and then the second thing we're going to discuss is what you do to set up your trust account. It's pretty basic. You activate the online payments, you test the link, and it's enabled. So it's really an easy process. It usually works like a charm. I've not worked with any of our clients that have hit the link button and it failed to link. So let's talk about setting up the operating account, what you need to do if you're just going to accept client accounts receivable payments. So first thing you have to do, of course, you have to have Juris in maintenance mode, and you'll go into setup and manage. And on the billing tab, there's this whole new section here added. And if those of you who are on 261, you'll see two new sections added because you've not taken advantage of expense attachments. And below that is the online payment. So you basically would check that online payments box. You can either type or use the drop down to pick your bank account. You key in the merchant key that they gave you, and you key in the PIN number that they gave you. And when you click confirm connection, it goes out there, does its thing, sees if Juris is talking to the Lawpay site, and then it says connection is successful. And there you go. That easy. Then you are set up at that point to use online payments for AR. Now, we want to enable them for clients. So once you check that box in firm options, it automatically, at the client level on the billing tab, it's automatically going to have online payments enabled because we have enabled that function across all clients in Juris. We haven't activated it for all clients, but if we want to use it, we have the option to come directly to the client that we want to use online payments for, and we generate the link. So at the client level, this is going to work at the client level, okay, not down at the matter level. You will see online payments, generate the link. When you generate that link, comes out, and it's going to give you a secure payment link specifically for this client in my presentation called Dale. So that link is only for Dale's bills for all of Dale's matters. We're going to go to the trust account. This is similar. So if you have a trust bank that you want to say, they say online trust payments. I think it's really an online trust deposit, if you will, because you're really not paying anything with trust, because by the time you pay it with trust, the bank doesn't know that it's trust. So anyway, this would be like a trust deposit. So basically the same kind of thing. You're going to have set up and manage, which means you're in maintenance mode. And when you go into firm options, you go to the miscellaneous tab. And over here on the right, they've added online trust payments. And you check the box to enable. You pick your bank. You enter your key and enter your trust account PIN number. You hit confirm connection, and you get connection successful. So now you have activated online payments, the use of online payments. Now you can use that, and if you want to enable them for matters, this is all the way down to the matter level, whereas AR is at the client level for all matters. Trust is done at the matter level. So if you go either to the client, you can choose to, you'll see that the client is online, trust payments are enabled. You can uncheck that if you want to, so you can enable it or disable it, either one at the matter level. So like on the right screen, I've gone all the way to the matter, and as you see on the code tab, I can either uncheck that this matter's going to not use trust, or that it is going to. When you select the other place, when you do this, you can also do that same thing. You can generate your trust payment links for every matter. You go to Client Matter Inquiry, you click on the trust inquiry type, and you generate the trust link. And once you generate the trust link here, then you're going to get the link that you can copy and paste into your own email, or actually send it straight from Juris. So this is done on Client Matter Inquiry currently, and it's matter specific. All right, easy enough. Let's talk about the email template. So if you're currently still on 261, you are very familiar with the fact that if you email from Juris now, it's not such a good thing. It's finally a wonderful thing. So when you upgrade to 3.2, whether or not you take advantage of the online payment option or not, you're going to love the email function, period. So with 3.2, we've added the capability to create a firm-wide email template. And it lets you, it serves two purposes, okay? It lets you provide the formatting and the design options for the subject line and for the body of the email. So when you open this new function up, this is what the email template looks like. And once again, you've got to be in maintenance mode. It's in setup and manage. There's a new function for email template in the drop-down list. If you go with the subject line of Juris default, that's as if you're never going to take advantage of this new custom email body stuff at all. So basically, Juris default means to continue using the email function off the billing menu the way it functions now. However, you can check the custom checkbox, and the subject line, you can customize the subject line. You can have your firm name, is your Kathy Baker's law firm bill is ready to review, or you could just say your services provided by Kathy Baker's law firm, see attached, whatever you wanted. So if you check custom, you can have your own subject line. the email, the body of the email is customizable, and you have some tokens that you can use. Dear client name, I don't know that anybody would ever do that, because most of your client names would be like Kathy Baker, and why would you want to say Dear Kathy Baker? So you can remove any of this verbiage and type your own verbiage. You don't have to use Dear Client Name. You can just say very broad, attached, please find a copy of your bill for services rendered through February 28th. If you want to put the payment link text in here, it allows you to type. Sorry. Always forget. It lets you type in what you want to say here. Please pay your invoice here by clicking this link. If you put that payment link text, then their link that you've generated will automatically populate in the email. And then also you've got this was added in 3.2, so if you're in 3.1, I don't believe you have this. You have the trust deposit link, and you can make your own little verbiage there. Or like I said, you don't have to use any of those links. And if you have some clients who have the links, and some don't, if they don't have the links and you leave the 2 text boxes in there, they will not appear in the body of the email. So you can use one email template for everybody, whether they're going to use a payment link or not. Pretty cool. Let's now talk about refresh AR and trust balances. So currently, the link between Juris and Lawpay, it's not a real-time link, if you will. So anytime any transaction is posted in Juris that is going to update accounts receivable and or trust balances, you want to make sure that you go through this refresh AR and trust balances step. So to refresh AR balances, so how to refresh them, you go from the billing menu, and if those of you who have not seen 2.7 and beyond, you can now notice that we have new icons under here. So you go to online payments off the billing menu, and when you open this up, you simply just click this to refresh all client balances. You can also, from within Juris Inquiry and Reports, you can refresh AR balances as well. If you are in Inquiry, you can just click on the refresh balances. So 2 places that you can refresh client AR balances across the board, here and or on the in Inquiry. I think you can also do it on the client as well. So when should you refresh these? Well, if you think about it, being that the update, they don't talk to each other in a real-time mode, anything that you do is going to affect their balance. So after you post a cash receipt, it will be a new part of your daily workflow to check online payments and refresh the balances when you do credit memos or manual bills and regular bills. So after you post bills, you would immediately go to online payments and then refresh balances. Because if some whippersnapper gets their bill, I'm paying online right now, I'm fixing to go out the door, and they pay online, the new bill that you just posted will not show up on the Lawpay website until you refresh all client balances, or you go refresh that one client's balance. So sometimes you're working on just one client, and you may need to refresh just one client. You don't need to go refresh all, but it won't hurt anything. Also, another thing is if you're using print statements off the billing menu and you're charging interest and you have matters with zero WHIP, just only AR balances, so every month you want to charge them interest over each month, and they're not getting a bill, you're not going to do it as a bill, you would want to make sure that after you did that, printed your statements, if charging interest, and you had that box checked, you'd want to make sure that you refresh balances as well. excuse me, how to refresh the trust balances. Currently, there's not the function. They will be adding this to refresh all of the trust balances all at once. So you have to do that from within Juris Inquiry and Reports. Go into Client Matter Inquiry, and once you're in here, change your inquiry type to trust. And then for each matter, you can hit refresh links over on the far right. And when should you post? When should you do that? After you've posted a cash receipt that you know has got trust in it. Anytime you do a trust adjustment, either positive or negative, when you write a trust check or a quick check, and anytime you post a bill that has got any trust applied to bills on there. So refresh trust balances. All right. Now we've talked about all the setup in Juris. What do you do to go and download all of the online receipts that are up in the cloud, up in the sky somewhere? So we're going to process online receipts. Very easy. You just go to Juris and go to Transactions, and in Cash Receipts, you just highlight Cash Receipts. You don't have to go any further than to click on Cash Receipts, and you just choose Tools, Get Invoice Receipts, or Get Trust Receipts. You'll get a little message that says, hey, it may take a hot minute to do this. Do you want to continue? And you just say yes. So you don't get them at the same time. You'll get invoice receipts, then you'll get trust receipts, or vice versa, or just only one, depending on what you've got set up. So when you do that, when you're downloading the trust receipts, you're going to get a message that said, just like if you are entering in a cash receipt in Juris, if there's a matter that doesn't already have an existing trust account, you're going to get that little message that says, hey, this matter doesn't have a trust account in this bank. Would you like to create it? And you just say yes. And then the next message you get when it finishes is that the confirmation, sorry, those screens are blurry, but I can't actually download anything, so that those were taken from another document, and it's pretty bad. Sorry. But finally, you'll get cash receipt generated successfully, and it says for client pay payments. They will change that as well, I'm sure. And then you just hit OK, and you've downloaded the receipts. They will show up in Transactions, Cash Receipts, and they will be in a batch for SMGR. So you would either, depending on how your transaction folders are arranged, you either go to the SMGR folder, and then you would go to the current accounting period folder, or vice versa. But they're going to be, no matter who does it, they're always going to be in SMGR's folder. It's hard-coded in the background. It doesn't go into the folder of the person who's actually doing the downloading. Okay, so now we've got our receipts. We've refreshed everything. We've posted our bills. Now we're ready to take advantage of emailing bills with the client's link in there. So I'm not going to get into detail on emailing bills. I did a presentation a while back on emailing bills. So if you need exact help and step-by-step hand-holding on emailing bills, you'd be glad to reach out to any of our resources, and we can help you. So this is just only going to be a very broad overview of emailing bills, not a how-to. First of all, of course, it's from within Juris Billing. You go to Export and Email Bills. It's been there for quite some time. Standard things that you have to have set up before this even to work is that the billing address that's assigned to the matter has to have an email address on it. On the Matters Address tab, you have to choose an email format like PDF, Excel. I don't know why anybody would want to send it in anything other than a PDF, but there are some other options on there for email. The email template has to be defined, or if you're going to use the old-fashioned way, you just make sure that default is selected, which that is the default. When you open up the screen, Juris default is the screen. And then your bills, your pre-bills, have to have a status of either print bill, or ready to post. So all that stuff must be in place before you can either take advantage of the export email function, which actually is two functions in one. You can email, or you can export, or you can export and email, either way. So once you open up that screen and you pick, what you're going to select, are you going to do all pre-bills marked ready to print by a specific billing timekeeper or user, or, how are you going to do this? Then you get down to the bottom where there's the email and the export tabs. You want to make sure that your focus is on the email one, because like I said, this function has two features within it. So you will click on this options tab, and you have the option to create the file name for the bill, invoice, or file that's going to be attached to the email. And if you're using the Juris default, you may remember whatever you type in there, that's also the subject of the email. If you're using the new custom email template, then it's just the name of the file. Oh, just the name of the file, okay? And I'll show you an example of that in just a minute. So here is what is, note, this is what I just wanted to show you. Note the email file name when you click the options. This is user defined and bill number. So I obviously put Juris default. Notice the subject line is user defined, which are the words bill number, and then the bill number is the actual bill number. So you see that the subject line is bill number and the attachment is bill number, and of course there's nothing in the body of the message, as opposed to the Juris custom way. I have legal law firms through blah blah blah, and it has the bill number, same as the file name, but then I also have verbiage in my body of my email. So along this line, what does the client receive? So when using the Juris default email, this is what it looks like. They'll just have the subject bill number 776. Now, of course, you could put in there, Juris Law Firm, or, whatever you wanted to say, Kathy's Law Firm, or whatever. I just wanted to show you that with this default, using the old way, the body of the email is blank, subject line and file name are exactly the same. Message little note down here that the whomever sends these is who the email is shown to come from. So we have a lot of firms who have their IT team set up a billing email profile, and then I've seen where used, because they don't want everybody, being jam-packed with, bombarded, with tons of emails. So they'll log in with this billing department, which, has some message in there, and they'll send out their bills via the billing department email. You can do that if you want to. So this is the Juris default way, the old way. This is what the client would receive if you were using the new custom template. So notice that I have the law firm name in the subject. I have a bill number attachment. So all of that came from the firm, came from my template. The subject line came from my template. My email body came from the template. And as you can see on my email template over on the left here, I'm not using I don't have any payment text, even though you saw that I had the payment text link in my client template. So quite a bit of difference in the old way and the new way. With that said, I just want to thank you for your time today. I've got some resources that I would like to run by you. You will get a copy of this presentation, so don't think that you've got to do some screenshots or do some fast writing. You'll get this information. So currently, everybody knows Kendra Gephardt. If you don't, you must be new around here. Kendra's been around like 26 years, I believe, maybe on her 27th year this year. But that's her email address. She'll be glad to help you with anything that you need assistance with. You can always contact Juris Customer Support. Also, please take advantage of this website address. This is a new support website. You can go to see anything on, you can go to juris.com. You can go to look at training for their training team, which is vamping back up. They lost some staff, and now we've got some new trainers, and I'm really excited about that. You can get report guides, installation resources, downloads. Of course, this is where you're going to download your software, bill designs, check designs, documentation, all sorts of stuff. The wealth of knowledge at that website. Our team, the Juris Professional Service Team, will be more than happy to work with you. Of course, we have best in-class consulting, a lot of many years of Juris experience of us on the team. We do training, online training, and/or on-site services. We've got the genius custom report writers. And if you wanted to find out more about the Juris Professional Service and our plans, then you can always send an email to jps@lexisnexis.com. If you already have a professional services plan with us and are working with us, remember that you've got a direct email to get our attention really quickly. Also, look at this. We've got some additional Tuesday topics. So in June, our own Rhonda, who's on the phone with us, she and Teresa, who I think's on the phone as well, they will be giving you an overview of our new client intake module. If you've never seen it, it is awesome. It allows users to be able to enter clients and matters quickly with, and it can be customized, and they don't even have to have Juris installed on their desktop. It's really quick, without having to go click on all the tabs when you're setting up a client and/or setting up a matter. So be sure you attend that. And then in August, Kimberly's going to show you all about the 3.1 and greater reporting. So it's another thing, if you've got Juris Suite reporting and you've upgraded, there are reports in there that people have requested over the years, specifically analysis reports. As you know, they have to be done with first day of the month, last day of the month, or year, or last day of the year, accounting month, accounting period. Now you can run timekeeper analysis, collection analysis, any of those analysis reports. You can run those using a date range. So they've rewritten the tables that those reports pull from, and now you can use date ranges in there. Great. You can customize your own reports pretty much by just picking a different way to sort it, different way to group it, whether you want it for the billing timekeeper or want it for the originating timekeeper. It is amazing. So all the times that you've requested custom reports for something simple as a sort or a group, excuse me, now you can do it on your own. And the very last one we're going to have in December is going to be Stan Graham, who is on our team. He's our CPA. He's going to give you an update on 1099s, rules and regulations about 1099s. Generally, that's about when we will have our information, first week in December, and know whether or not we're going to have to create a new 1099 utility, or if you'll be able to use the 2022 1099 utility. I've got some tips for you from just different FAQs, so please be sure to check these out. Just things, attorneys who prefer personalized emails, you can just copy that online payment link and they can put it in their own email. You must have menu rights to allow access to the ML template editor and set up and manage to online payments on the billing menu and/or place refresh trust links. So there are a lot of good information and tips in here that will help you, may even answer some of the questions that you've jotted in the chat. So Thank you. And I'm going to open up the floor for questions because I know we got a late start. Sorry if I'm rattling through it. But do we have any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. This does conclude the presentation portion of our webinar. If you do have any questions, please feel free to ask them via the questions pane located on your webinar control panel. We did have one question that Nicole actually already answered. Can someone clarify if we have to move to 3.2 or can we just stay on 3.1? We just upgraded in December and Lawpay said 3.0 and above. And Nicole answered the integration is available on 3.1. And we have another question.
Yep, that is correct. The only thing is that 3.2 has, so if you're thinking about interfacing with your trust accounts, I believe 3.2 has some more functionality as versus 3.1 and 3.0. So as we go up, this online payments link is getting better. So true.
Right. Okay. Another question. We set up client pay when we upgraded to 3.1. We already had Lawpay. Are you saying that the two are combined into Lawpay now? Do we need to change the payment setup in Juris for Lawpay?
I think that's going to be a Nicole question.
Yes.
Right now, right now we're running on two separate things. Lawpay's working, and I'm not sure what the future is for making all that one. Nicole, do you have insight on that?
Yeah, sure. So when we acquired the client pay option earlier in 2021, everything was merged together. So you do have access to both. You'll have your Juris kind of client pay portal. You also should have access to the Lawpay portal. So everything should be working together. I don't believe there's any additional setup that needs to be required. You just have those two options right now to work through either portal.
Cool. So let me just ask this, being that this might be running through somebody else's mind, is that I have client pay and I have Lawpay. Do I need both, or can I drop one and go with the other? Drop client pay and go with Lawpay.
Yeah.
I can answer that if you want.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome to keep both. There's no additional cost to have both. The portals have slightly different features. So if there's one where you really like a feature in one or you don't like it, I mean, if you never ever log into one or utilize it in any way, then you don't have to keep using it. It'll just be there kind of in the background. We're not going to close it because there's no cost to you.
Oh, okay, great. I like free.
Yeah.
And that's all the questions that we have. Oh,
yeah, I know somebody's got some questions out there.
Is there a way to tell if anyone has billed using the Lawpay link?
From Juris or from Lawpay, or both? In Juris. From Juris, so you wouldn't know if you can tell if anybody has sent out a bill with the link, because you can put the link in your bill design I need to add that to my presentation as a tip. You can use that link, you can put it in a matter billing field. So
she says, from Juris, not sure when to start the menu for get invoice receipts.
That's going to be like an in-house kind of thing where every day you do it every day at the first thing in the morning. You do it in the afternoon. Whenever you do, you can always do get online payments. It's either going to be something there or it's not going to be anything there. And this might be a question for Nicole. Do the payments, so if I had 10 clients get on today and each one of them paid $1,000 for a total of $10,000, is that going to hit my bank as $10,000, or am I going to get 10 $1,000 entries in my bank?
So all of our payments do process in a batch overnight. So you will see that, and Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, but you should see that all come through as a large batch. Of course, you know, within the portals, you can see the itemized breakdown of who paid. Anytime if you run a report from the portal as well, you'll be able to see that itemized, but we are processing payments in batch overnight.
Okay, good. So every morning we would get online payments if we wanted to, you know, and it would bring in any receipts from the prior day. It would hit the bank reconciliation and the general ledger just like it would if we'd entered them all in one cash receipt batch. And so that's exactly how they're going to hit our checkbook. Unless you alter that cash receipt batch in some way before posting it, and now you have changed it and it no longer matches exactly what was downloaded as far as the value. So I guess the only way to tell if you've really billed is if you've generated a link. If you bill, you have to hit refresh. Now, it will update the matter. Let me hit escape on this. I have Juris, just so happens. I can show you all this. So when you go into inquiry, so you see refresh balances. I can see here that it's last updated, 3 days ago. So if I go here, I can see that in the client, I have enabled trust payments, all right? If I look at the client level, on the billing tab, the last time this was updated matches that, right? So I could refresh balances here. I could go here and refresh balances. Probably gonna get an error saying that you can't do that, but we will see. Oh, looks like it's done do something. So my balances are refreshed. So that just sent a note up to Lawpay and said, correct all these balances and make them current. And now if I go back to my client, you'll see on the billing tab that it's been refreshed. And then you will see the same thing in inquiry reports. It's been refreshed. That should refresh when I refresh that online balances. I'm going to write stuff. Anybody else?
Oh, I have a there's a follow-up to the other question. Still unclear about changing from client pay to Lawpay. We prefer the Lawpay portal, but right now our payments in Juris are set up for client pay. Will we need to change the account key and PIN and update all the client payment links?
Yes. I would say yes, but Nicole can answer that. Because it's totally different.
So for right now, yeah. So for right now, you'll want to keep because the integration itself is with client pay, you'll want to keep your account key and your account PIN set up exactly as it is. The integration isn't quite yet with Lawpay itself. So you're more than welcome to utilize the Lawpay portal. You do have access to it, but from the actual integration side, it is with client pay. So for now, it'll just be as it is, but down the road there will be some more updates coming your way where that will change.
Yes, I think that's this fall when it's going to be fully Lawpay. It will be called Lawpay, and it will no longer be referred to Client Pay, and it'll be Lawpay, right? I believe it's this fall.
Is the
So what
online
they're saying,
payment?
so I think what Nicole is saying is that if you have Lawpay and you want to take advantage of this, they're going to set you up in Client Pay for free so that you can take advantage of this now. Moving forward, when you call and you're new, you'll get set up with Lawpay. Is that right, Nicole?
Yes, that's correct. So yeah, all of this functionality, everything that we went over today, again, it is available to anyone that's 3.0 and higher. But it will be with that kind of Lawpay link functionality. And then down the road, as we continue to work on it and upgrade, when that time comes, we'll let you know. Like, okay, we're moving everybody over fully to the base Lawpay product.
Okay, is the online payment link on the client new to 3.2? I only see it under the client inquiry.
Yes. Is it new here or new in inquiry? I think it's new here.
She only sees it under client inquiry.
Yeah, it's new in 3.2.
3.2 right there. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said. If you're on 3.0.3.1, you're going to miss out on a bunch of features because every time one of these releases comes out, this is what they've been focusing on, is getting this more, is better. A lot of enhancements to it, and a lot of customer requests to fix things, not really fix things, change things for the better. So, and to upgrade from 3.1 to 3.2, it's not nearly as painful. I mean, you're still going to have some downtime, but it's not as painful as it was to go from 2.6.1 up. And I can tell you too, if you do a lot of split billing, please hold off on upgrading to version 3.2.
It looks like that is all of the questions.
Well, if anybody thinks of anything, they can always send an email. Once again, Nicole's email address is N as in Nancy or Nicole, Angelica, ANGELICA @lawpay.com. You can reach out to her. She'll be glad to give you a demo and sign you up.
And that concludes today's webinar. I would like to thank Kathy once again for her expert advice on today's session, as well as Nicole, Angelica, and Emily Campbell from AffiniPay for your help with additional questions, and to all of our attendees for taking time out of your busy day to join us. I have a few quick follow-up reminders. All attendees will receive an email within 1 week with a link to a recording of today's webinar, as well as any slides Kathy used for her presentation. In closing, there is a brief survey at the end of our webinar today that we ask you to please take a moment to complete. Your feedback will help us in planning our future webinars. Thank you all for your time today. I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.